Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs and back to the Selenium question series. So very good, interesting scenario that we are going to cover today. That is how to automate CRUD use cases on UI application. CRUD means create, retrieve, update, and delete. For example, add, edit, and delete, these kind of things that we have to get it. So for example, I have on this dummy addressbook.com application where you can just sign up, you can enter your username, password, and then again you can sign up with the same username, password. So I've already created the account on this site, and if you go to the addresses link here, you can see number of addresses entries that I have created. This is a list of addresses. If you really want to create a new address, just click on new address and you have to fill this particular form and then click on create address, and the same address will be displayed over here as a new entry. Duplicate entries are allowed because this is just a dummy website. You can just again show it and see the content here. You really want to edit that also, you can do it. You can edit for a specific row also. Let's say I want to edit this guy, click on this edit. You can destroy also. So let's say for example I want to destroy means delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Click on OK and the entry will be deleted with a message over here. So the question is that it looks very easy, right? We have to click on this new address, fill this particular form, and then click on create address. But how will you design a proper use case with a proper code maintenance, and then what are different best practices to automate the CRUD based scenarios, right? We have to add, we have to retrieve, we have to delete, and we have to edit and update. It's a very famous interview question also. Design some test cases, what will be your design, and we have to avoid writing the boilerplate code, means duplicate codes. So let's see how to do that. So I'll be using Selenium with Java with TestNG. So this project is already there with me, and then I'm going to create a separate package for that, and I'll be using a POSO approach, the plain old Java object approach, where we will be using getter, setter, constructors, and instead of passing so many parameters, for example, let's say you want to click on new address and you have to pass, let's say 5-6 parameters to add the values, mandatory or non-mandatory field if you really want to add it. In that case, better to pass the in the form of object instead of passing 7 or 8 parameters to a particular function. It looks ugly. And let's see, by using getter and setter, by using constructor, how can we update and get the values as well. Okay, so I'll do one thing without wasting our time. Let me create a package here, and let's see, the package name is CRUD, and then after that click on finish. In this particular src main Java, I'll be writing some basic implementation classes and my some other data classes or POSO classes. So let's create a class over here, and we have to fill this form. And then if you click on directly on create address without filling anything, it's saying, okay, these are the 5 attributes or 5 elements are mandatory fields are available. It cannot be blank. So we'll just focus on the mandatory field. If you really want to add some more values, that also you can add it. Doesn't matter. So for example, let's say I'm going to create one POSO class, that is my address class, no main method, click on finish. And in this particular address class, what are different other class variables or private encapsulation that I want to use it? I simply say, okay, these are the private locators. For example, let's see, fine, this is my string first name that I want to enter first. And likewise, I have a first name, then last name, address 1, city, and zip code. So I quickly create some private by locators like that. So first name, this is my last name. Perfect. So these are the private variables that I have declared. And then after that, what exactly I'm going to do that I'm going to create one public constructor of this class. So let's go to source and then click on generate constructor using fields. Select all these fields to create the constructor. So one constructor will be created. Here you can see that I don't need any super keyword. So here you can see the constructor got created. Constructor will remain same as the name, same as the class name. After that, I need some getter and setter also, because at the runtime I want to fetch the respective values. And then after that, we have to capture and update the values also at the runtime. So I want to create a template of the address class in the form of POSO. So let's do one thing, right click on it and go to source and generate getters and setters. Select all and then click on generate. So here you can see the getter and setters are ready. You can use Lombok also if you want to use it. So I don't want to use Lombok right now. Then you can avoid some boilerplate code like getter and setter in the constructor. So let it be like that. Okay. So this is a class template that I have created. Now I'm going to create a page class, or for example, the implementation class. For let's see, this is my class, and then this is my address page class that I'm going to write. And don't select the main method. If you're using the page object model, okay, we can achieve that also. So here you have to maintain your locators and the page actions and everything. For example, let's see, first my by locator that I'm going to create here. So this will behave like your Selenium code and the private by locators that you have to maintain. It means, for example, whenever you want to add the values, how exactly you are going to add it over here. So, right. So the implementation will be, we have to enter the values and we have to maintain some private by locators. So let's see, I'm maintaining some private by locators for the first name. Click on inspect. I just want to fill only mandatory fields. I want to take much amount of time just to fill the values because that really doesn't matter. And let's see, this is my private by locator and this is my first name actually. So let's see, first name is equal to by.id and then I'll be using this ID and here like that. So this is my first private by locator and then first name and then what we have, last name, address 1, city. So address 1, perfect. And then import your by locator from here. Okay, after that I'm going to create one constructor of this class so that we can get the driver. So I'm going to create, let's see, this is my address page and then this guy says fine, you give me the WebDriver reference here and then I'm going to create one private WebDriver reference over here so that we can use this driver. Okay, with the help of this keyword I'm going to use this dot driver is equal to driver. It means this class is not responsible for creating the WebDriver initialization. Whatever driver that you are giving, same driver will be given to this guy with the help of this keyword so that I can use those things in my public page actions. So I'm going to create the proper concept of encapsulation where private by locators and then the public page actions that I'm going to write. So I have to create 4 important features. 4 important features means create the address and then update the address, delete the address, and then the get the address, like that. So 4 methods that I have to create. So first I'm going to write, let's see, add address over here, right? And this add address is saying fine, if you really want to add the address, let's see, initially it is void in nature. If you want to add the address, you have to click on new address and then you have to fill this particular form. Perfect. So what I have to do is that first of all that I'm going to create another method over here. For example, this is my public void and let's see, click address link method that I have created. And this method is saying, okay, fine, that you have to click on new address. So I'm going to inspect this guy also. And let's see here. I'm not going to create 2 pages, guys, that you can do it later. I'm not following the exactly page object model. You can create 2 separate page classes also. One is for the list page, another is for the new address page, but I'm maintaining inside the same page locator, same page class, so that I don't need to write this, multiple classes like that. So let's see, this is my this is new address link that I'm going to create. So new address link, which is equal to by dot link text, I can use it, and this is the thing. And then I'll be using this new address link to click on this address link. So I'll be using I'll be using a driver dot find element, and this is new address link, and then dot click. Perfect. And then we have to add the address. So first I have to call this particular method, then only I can go to this particular page. So if you really want to add the page chaining model also, this method should return the next landing page class object, but I'm not doing page chaining model here. Simply click on it and fill the form. Perfect. So I'm just going to fill this form now. Driver dot find element, and what exactly you want to add? The first name, right? The first name locator that you want to add, but dot send keys, which value, how exactly you will pass the value. So let's see, I want to pass first name, last name, address, city, zip code. It means 5 attributes I have to pass comma separated, 5 parameters that I have to use it here. No, it's like not recommended, and then too much parameters. Tomorrow, let's say you have to fill all these form, 10 different values that I have to fill, 10 comma separated parameters and arguments we have to pass. So in this case, I'll do one thing, that better you give me the complete object of the address class, and then at the runtime I'll take it. So I just use this address class reference here, and this address class I say, okay, fine, address dot, and I'll be using the getters here. So see this, I'll be using get first name. So when I call this method, that I'll be passing the address class object, and that address class object, with the help of constructor or with the help of setter, I'll try to fill the values, and then I'll just pass the object reference here, and from this object reference you can just get the first name, last name, and everything. So same thing I'll be doing this guy also, driver dot find element, and then that is for last name dot send keys. I'll be using my address dot get last name. Perfect. So when I fill this entire form, then you have to click on create address. So you have to create one more locator. So let me just quickly inspect it, and the name I can use it is equal to commit. There is no ID available, so I'm going to maintain one more private by locator. And this is my this is the button name is create address. So I'll be writing okay, create address, which is equal to by dot name. Locators are very straightforward in this application, that's good. And then create address I have to click. So let's do that. Driver dot find element, create address dot click here. So this method is when you fill this form. So what will happen, for example, let's say I'm entering something over here, first name, last name, then I'm writing address 1, and then I'm writing city, then I'm writing some zip code here, that's it, and then I'm clicking on create address. So it will give you a message over here that address was successfully created. So I just go to check this locator, and then using the get text, or just check that okay, this message is displayed or not, or maybe first name is displayed or not, something like this, or any important thing that you want to check it, that you can do it. So after clicking on it, I'm going to create a simple driver dot find element by dot. I'll directly do one thing. I'll just write a validation on this success message, that is your alert 3 classes are available. So I can create one div dot these 3 classes. I can use one CSS selector, and then I'll be using the get text over here. So I'll be writing by dot creating one private by locator here once again. And this is my I would say success message is equal to by dot CSS selector, and then this one. Perfect. And then on the basis of this success message, I'll be writing this success message and what exactly you want dot get text, and then whatever text is that you are getting, then you exactly return it. So instead of void, I'll be writing string, and then when I write my testng class, right, that time whatever that you're returning, the string that you're returning, right, I'll be validating that. So that should be part of your test case, right, not part of your page object method. Page object method should never assert anything. So let's see, this is my first method is ready. Likewise, I'm going to create another method, that is update address, right guys, and you see that I'm not using any single hard-coded values. But see this carefully. I'll go back to the addresses. I want to update a specific entry. I want to update, let's see, edit, click on this edit. But what exactly most of the people, they do mistake here, that existing record which is already available today, and then they just click on edit and then try to update. What if this record is not available? What if this record is deleted from the database? So always a best practice is that whenever you are going to edit should be an independent test case. First, for edit, first we have to add it and then edit it. Same thing, you want to delete, first you add it and delete the same record. Same thing for update, same thing for you want to get it, first you add it and get the same record. Do not create unnecessary dependency between 2 test cases or 3 test cases, otherwise the maintenance and the data is mismatched. It will always give you a problem. Okay, so that's why we are following the best practices over here. So let's see, I want to update that you'd first click on new address, create an address, and then the same address you update. For example, let's say I create this guy, Naveen 123, and click on edit. So I'll be clicking on edit, and then I'll update something. Let's say your last name is 123, something like this, updated, and then your city is something like this. And then you click on update address. And then I'll say, okay, yeah, address successfully updated, this message, or maybe some validation I can do it over here as well. So in this case also it's saying that, okay, fine, you give me the address, object reference, and then on what basis, for which, for which record. So you have to pass at least some unique key over here, like, update by ID, update by first name, update by last name, or whatever. So let's see, I'll just click on this address. I say, okay, fine, if the first name is equal to Naveen 123, then only I want to edit. So I have to click multiple edits. Out of all these multiple edits, I have to click only one edit, right? So how will you decide in that case? So in that case, we have to use only for Naveen 123. So we have to pass some unique key, something like this. This unique key could be first name, last name, city, or any email ID, or whatever, depends on your application. Okay, so I'll do one thing, that, okay, fine, you give me the first name, update address by the first name, and give me the address object. And inside this address object, you tell me what exactly you want to update. So in this case, what exactly I'm going to do that, fine. I'll first of all that again click on the address link, so that we will click on it and then we will land on this particular page. So this is my initial thing. And then I want to what? So it will come over here. And then I want that you have to select the specific first name and then click on edit. So you have to use a proper XPath concept over here. So for example, let's say I want to click edit of Naveen123 record. So how will you do that? So in this case, I'll start from here, and here you can see that TD is having 123. So I'll create one custom XPath over here with the help of XPath access, which is like text is equal to this one. And then I'm going to use the following sibling, that because I have to reach over here to this particular TD where a edit is available. So I'll do one thing. This is my following sibling, right? And sorry, following a sibling colon TD is giving you 6. And then I'm writing that, okay, you have to go to this particular TD where a is available. So I'll write a where the text is equal to edit. So see, it is pointed to this. So this is a variable part. So this is a hard-coded value that you have to remove it. So I'll do one thing that, okay, fine. If I'm passing the respective value, for example, let's say if I'm passing money, see, it is showing the money for this edit button for money only. If I'm passing this RER, so in that case for RER is showing edit. So I got a pattern here, right? So in this case, what exactly I'm going to do that, okay, fine, that this is your driver dot find element by dot XPath I'll be using, and this is my XPath expression. And the only thing is that you should not use a hard-coded value. That's why I'm passing the first name here and then appending here. So I'm going to append it over here like this. Simple string concatenation that I'm going to use it. Means first you have to do what? Find this element and then dot click. Click on this edit button or edit link or whatever for the respective given first name. That has to be given by the user from the test case. No hard-coded values here. And when you click on it and then you have to edit. How will you add it? Again, you have to fill this particular form and respective values that you want to add it, that you will be passing with the help of address object here. So I'll do one thing that fine, that I can simply call this particular add address method once again. That also I can do it, or I can do one thing. See, I can remove this line first of all, or just let it be like that, or I can just take this entire code once again from here to here. And later on you can create a method also for separately for this and then using this. And I'm using the driver dot find element here, and then instead of return void I'll be writing a string. Perfect. So get first name, last name, address, one, this and that, and then you have to click on create address, and then that's it. Perfect. So here this is your first name. So this first name is also actually same. I'll do one thing. I'll simply say this is my first name, or you can use this also here. Perfect. So this F name I have to append over here, right guys? So it means you click on this first address link, click on edit, and then fill this particular form on the basis of the given address object values. Perfect. So this is my update address is also ready. You can avoid this duplicate code. Same code is written over here. You can create a common method just to fill the address and then use this code and then call that method. That also we can do that. If you really want to do it right now, let's do it. I simply write, okay, public void fill address form. Perfect. And the fill address form says that you give me the address reference, and this duplicate code that I'll be using first name, last name, this and that, and up to return, just cut it from here and then paste it. Then this guy will give you a string, whatever the successful message is coming, and this fill address form we have to call it from here. That's it. Now it looks very elegant. Pass the address object, that's it, and then same thing you have to return from this guy. Perfect. And that's another thing is that I don't need all these things. It means, after this I can remove this code also. Click on address, click on edit, and after this just fill the address form once again. Okay, so common code that we have written here. Okay, so this is update address. So add is done, update is done. Then I'm going to write a delete address. So I'll write public void delete the address. So how will you delete it? So same thing that you have to delete a specific, on the basis of a specific first name. So you click on addresses, and let's say I want to click on delete this particular money and click on destroy, and it asks you, okay, fine, are you sure you want to click on it? Right? So pop up that you have to click. So in this case, again, I'll be clicking starting from here, this guy, and then you have to tell me that for which address that you want to delete. So I'll say, okay, find on the basis of the first name. It means find that particular row on the basis of first name, Naveen123 money or this RER, and then click on destroy. So I'll be doing one thing, that exactly same thing I'll be using it here. Instead of edit, I'll be using destroy. Perfect. And then you just simply click on it, destroy. And when you click on destroy, then the pop-up is coming. So I can use a WebDriver wait utility. For example, let's see the it is coming after a few seconds. The pop-up is coming after a few seconds. So I'll be writing my WebDriver explicitly wait that I'll be writing it. Let's see, I'll be saying that, for example, driver comma for 10 seconds that you have to wait, and then wait dot until I'm writing my expected conditions dot if alert is present, you simple do what, that accept it. That's it. Okay. And when you accept it and then click on it, means okay, and the value got deleted, and then you are just verifying that address was successfully destroyed or not. So I can do one thing, I can return the same message from here. Okay, like this. And then instead of void, I'll be writing a string here, because every message is having the exactly same CSS selector. This success message, right, that you have created, having the same CSS selector for create, update, and delete also. So this delete address is also ready. See the code, guys. It looks very elegant, no hard code values, nothing, and which is like proper example of CRUD operation that we are doing it. And then finally, what we have to do, we have to get the address. So I'll write, okay, public, I'll be writing void get address detail or whatever. So in this case, you have to say, okay, fine, that which address that you are looking for, get address, right? And I can do one thing, that a specific address that you're looking for. So you have to click on show, this show, and then you can just see the couple of information here. Okay, so I'll do get address. Again, I have to create the address. So again, let me just click an address link like that. Okay, but see this carefully, I have to get the address on the basis of what? So first I'll click on it, and then you have to click on show for the respective first name on the basis of that. So I'll be writing, okay, fine, you take this particular first name and you just need to click on show. So I'll be writing, instead of destroy, I'll be writing show here, and then you click on it. So I'm just going to click on it and the respective value. So let's say I'm just verifying the first name is displayed, or any other thing that you want to check it, that you can do that. So I'll do one thing, okay, fine, that return what, driver dot find element, and what, so driver dot find element if the first name is money here. So let me just inspect this guy, and this is span with money, right? So let's see, this is my first name, I can use it, data test over here. So this is my span at the rate data test, which is equal to first name, like this, and I can capture the get text over here. So, or you can maintain one quick by locator here as well. So I'll be writing, this is my private by first name, not as a field, first name, I would say the value, which is equal to by dot xpath, and this is the xpath that I have created. So maintain one private by locator. If first name value, I'll be writing it over here, and then you return the dot get text here. Perfect. And simple return, and instead of void, the simple string. So get address also, you just need to pass this first name. So you don't need to pass any address complete thing here, that you can avoid it. Okay. So these are the 4 CRUD operations that I have created: add, update, delete, and get. Fine. And then one utility method I have created. Now it's time to write the test cases, and let's see one by one it's working or not. So I'll go to src test java, creating a separate package here. Okay, let's see, this is my address test cases, and creating one address test class. Okay, don't select the main method. I'll be using testng here, so make sure that you are using testng. I'm not designing complete page object model, so let's see, I'll start with the before test annotation. Start with public void, and my first method that I'm going to write, that is what, the setup method, right? So let's see, this is my setup method. In this setup method, I'll say that first you import before test. I'm going to initialize my WebDriver manager and all such things. So I'll do one thing, that username password that we have to enter. So this code is already with me, so like this. So first time what is happening here, that you first time sign out, we will start from the here we have to enter the username password and click on sign in. This is what exactly I'm doing it. So first you maintain one WebDriver also. So you can maintain one private WebDriver here. Okay, lengthy scenario guys, but try to understand. It's very interesting learning for you guys. Equal to Chrome driver, or you can write a cross browser logic also, that we are not bothered about it. I'm using implicitly wait, that also you can avoid it later on. You can provide some explicitly wait. Launch the URL, enter the username password, and then after that click on sign in. So for clicking on sign in, that what you just need to do is that you just simply write this one, driver.findElement by.name commit and .click. So fill the values and then click on sign in, and then after that that's it. Okay, and what you have to do is that you have to start writing the test cases. And let me write first @after test also, that tear down method, that public void tear down. In tear down I'll write, okay fine, driver.quit here, just close the browser once everything is done. Okay, now I'm going to do that I'm going to create my first @test annotation here. I'll be writing, okay fine, this is my public void, and I'm going to write create address test. Okay, now which method is responsible for creating the address? In my address page, addAddress method is available, right? You just give me the object of this and then just simple create the address of this. So how will you do this in that case? So we have to call this method and we have to pass this. So first we have to create the object of address class. So let's create it first here. So I'm going to create one address class object, address is equal to new address. And now your POSO class will be applicable here. So here you can see address over here and this one. First name, last name, address, one city. This will be your test data that you have to pass. And then the test data will be given to the constructor. And with the help of this keyword, all these class variables will be initialized. So I'll do one thing, that okay fine, my first name, this data you can read it from your Excel file or whatever, from your test data source. So right now I'm doing the hard-coded values here. So for example, let's see, my first name I'm writing that Naveen, and the last name I'm writing, let's see, Naveen automation, and then address one I'm writing everything is in a string. Let's see, I'm writing whatever, let's see, new address, city is equal to Bangalore, for example, and let's see, I'm writing some zip code, something like this, 560011 or whatever. Okay, so this is the address object that I have created. Now see this carefully, I have to call this method. So to call this method, I have to create the object of address page class. Then only I can call this addAddress method and just pass the address reference here. So inside the setup method, I can do one thing first. Before that, at the class level, I'm going to create one address page, okay, reference, and then I'm going to initialize this particular reference with an object is equal to new address page, and then pass the driver we have already captured. So this method will initialize the driver, and the same driver will be given to this address page, and address page is expecting one driver here. You can see the driver will be given to this guy and the same driver will be given to this guy, and then so that I can use the same driver in my public actions methods here. Perfect. This is a typical example of page object model. And then object is created. After that, what should I do? The address page, I can use it and I can call all the methods of the address page. Dot, which method you want to use? addAddress. So when I call this addAddress method, okay, it will click on this, click address link, and again fill the address. So I can make it private because I don't want to call this method directly. So let's make it private. In fact, see this click address link method also we have created, which is perfectly fine, right? So this method will be called click address link and fill this particular entire form. I'm making it private because I don't want to give this particular method exposure to the directly to the test client. So just call this particular method, and internally this method is calling this one. Perfect. So, but where is the address object? This is the address object, and that's it. So now your test case is looking very elegant, and let's see this is actually adding this object or not. So I'm just going to run it, run as a test.ng. Let's see. So browser is getting launched. Enter the username, password, and after that it should click on addresses. Let's see. Okay, see, it is not clicking on addresses. Okay, so it's saying, let's see, I think we missed one step. No such element exception, new address. Okay, so we have missed one step, that after clicking on commit, and then you are going to new address, and then click on addresses link, and the new addresses that you have to click. It means first you have to click on addresses over here first. Okay, so what we have to do is that not new addresses, actually we have to use addresses link. So let me just inspect that, because then only it will click on new addresses, right guys? So addresses text we have to use instead of new addresses. Okay, and then after that it will click on I'll write this one, that is your address link here. So click on this particular address link, and then you start filling the form. Perfect. And then when you start filling the form, then after that, before that, you have to click on new address also. So this new address also we have to maintain. So I'll do one thing. I'm going to create one more by locator for the new address link. So I'll be writing new address link, and this is new address actually. Okay, so one extra locator that we have to maintain. So new address link, where exactly you will be clicking on it. So after that, you just come here, and before filling the form, you have to click on it. So driver dot find element by dot what by dot sorry, this one, driver dot find element. I'll be writing this, the locator is a new addresses link, and then dot send keys, and sorry, not send keys, we have to do a dot click here. It's a link dot click. Perfect. Now the flow is perfectly fine. Let's see it is working or not. So run as testng. Okay, so okay, it's still not clicking on it. New address actually. No worries, we will see where exactly the problem. See, again it's saying that new addresses actually, sorry, again my mistake guys, it's not new addresses, actually it's only new address. Okay, you can see new address, not addresses. Okay, let's run it again. Sorry about that. So here you can see that fine, sign in, click on it, and then fill the form, and then done. Perfect, the test is absolutely fine. And here you can cross check, you can refresh it, and you can see the Naveen entry got created here. Right, so this is perfectly fine. You can add data provider also and multiple test data that you can pass, and then it should work. Perfect. Now I'm going to write another test here. And for example, I'm going to write public void. The next test I'm going to write the update address. For update address also, as I told you, first what you have to do for updating the user also, do not believe on this entry that you have recently created, because you never know, I just want to execute this guy. So do not create any dependency between create address and the update address. For update address also, first you create a fresh user, and then after that you always update the same user. So let's say I'm going to create another user here, the same line of code that I'm going to write it here. And this time, let's see, I'm going to create, instead of Naveen Automation, I'm writing Naveen AutomationLabs. And then let's see, the first name also Naveen Labs, new address labs. I'm just adding one single line. And the address is also, let's see, Bangalore Labs, and then 56022. Create this. So this guy will add the address. And then from the same address page, I'll be writing dot what? I have to update. So when you create this user, right, with this thing, you want to update something. So let's say I'm just going to update this guy. So how will you update? Let's say I want to update its last name or address one or city. Instead of Bangalore, some other city. So I'll be writing setter over here now. See this. So address, whatever the address object that we have to use. So how will you get the address object now? So I'll be using the same address object. Dot. I'll be writing my setter here. Setter will help me to update the specific entry. So for example, let's see, I want to update its last name. So initially it was AutomationLabs. So I'm writing, let's see, my last name is changed now, whatever. So let's say I'm writing KHUNTET. This is my surname. And then I want to address dot set city also. Instead of Bangalore, let's say I'm writing New York. Perfect. And these two things I want to update. And then I'll be writing my address page dot this update address method. So this updated address object I'll be passing, and for which user, the username is, first name is Naveen Labs. So I can do one thing, this address dot get first name also I can use it instead of this hard-coded values. Perfect. So this is also the first name will be added. So this add address method also initially be returned, right? It is returning this fill address form and returning the successful message after filling this. If it is displayed, then it's successfully fine. So if you really want to use get text, that also you can do that. So I'll say one thing that, okay, when I let's see, go to address, click on new address, and then I'm writing something like this. Address 1, city is this. I'm writing some random zip code and then click on create address. So you will be getting this message, address successfully created. Okay, so when you create the add address, create user, right? So without assertion, your test is not completed. So I'll be writing one assert dot assert equals. Okay, it means add address method will return what? It will return one string here. So I'll be storing inside the string that actual, or I would say that success message is equal to this. If this success message, this one is expected message is this, what this one, address successfully created or not, it means my test is created successfully, otherwise test is failed. Same thing I'll be writing for update also, but in this case address was successfully updated actually. Okay, you can cross check once again. Let's say I'm going to add this guy, added only, let's see, address 2 here, and then update address. So it's saying only updated here. Perfect. And I have to use the success message after updating this guy. Perfect. So that is the use case of update address. That's why we are returning fill address form, and whatever the success message is coming, you capture the text and return it. Perfect. Okay, so let's see this update user is working or not. So I'm going to create one update address test. Okay, so first it will create, see, it will be very fast. See, Naveen AutomationLabs, and then again Naveen Kurita and New York got added, but it's saying that update address is saying updated and the created. Okay, but we found created. Okay, so I think we have to go to update address and click address link, which is fine. It's clicking on edit and then fill the address form, and see, that is the problem here, that what exactly will happen, that fill address form, it will again click on new address link. It means it will start creating the new user that I don't want. So in this case, what should I do? That I have to ignore this line. So I'll do one thing, just I cut it from here and then I'll just use it here only. This is only for add address. So I don't want in a common code section here. Perfect. So let's do one thing once again. I'll do one thing. Let me just refresh it. And whatever the Naveen Labs got created, right, let me just destroy it. Okay, here. Now you can see there is no Naveen Labs or something like this. And now let's run it again. So initially it will be Bangalore, and Bangalore to New York, the surname will be updated. Okay, see, Naveen, and then same user got updated here. And this time it's absolutely working fine. You can refresh it. And here you can see Naveen Labs, Bangalore, New York. The only thing is that I'm not clearing the data. So that's why in the same entry it's getting created. So I'll do one thing, that when you update the address right here, it means before filling the values, you have to keep, you have to clear the data also. So I'll be writing dot clear method here. Same thing for this guy also. So before filling the value, first you clear it. Okay, perfect. And that's it. Now let me just delete this record. Okay, now see, this time it's not creating two entries, only one entry. First create and update the same entry. Now let's run it again. See, we have to keep enhancing the code, keep enhancing the whatever the script or the logic that we have written. So we have to keep running it and we have to make it stable. This is how automation works. See, now this time you can see city is equal to New York, and it's absolutely working fine. And it will create only one entry. Initially it was Naveen Labs with the different surname. Now its surname is updated to Qdata, and then the city is New York, and the same entry got updated here, which is absolutely working fine now. Okay, so this is update also working, and with the proper assertion. Then I'm going to write my fourth test case, that is delete. So say, let's see, public void delete address test. For deleting the user, again, first you create a new user. So let's create that new user. So this is the user that I'm going to create. Let's see, Naveen. I'll deliberately writing a name, Naveen delete. AutomationLabs delete. New address, deliberately writing like this, and let's see, Bangalore delete, and with the same zip code, it's fine. So first you add it, and then I'm going to delete it. Okay, so dot delete address, which name, Naveen delete, that you have created. On the basis of that, you just simply delete this user. So what will happen, it will come here. The moment it see, okay, Naveen Labs or whatever, it will just click on destroy. This is what that we have written, and click on destroy. Wait for 10 seconds to get the alert, and then successfully message that you are getting it, delete it successfully, and then you validate that. So I'm going to validate now. So I'm going to store inside the string success message, which is equal to this, writing assertions and then changing the expected value. It should be deleted. Let me just check that, how exactly the message is coming. It's saying destroyed, actually not deleted. So I'll be writing destroyed here. Awesome. This is also ready. Let's see it is working or not. So delete address test, I'm going to run it. See here, don't worry about the hardcode values of the data. Here you can use data provider, Excel sheet, various ways of doing it. See, Naveen delete, and then it will be deleted. Perfect. So first it got added and deleted, and here you refresh it. That's why you are not getting any entry for Naveen delete. So this is also absolutely working fine, right? Then I'm going to create another test at the rate test annotation for retrieving the address. So I'll be writing, let's see, get address test or show address test or whatever that you want to call. This is just like a, the API call that we are doing it. So first again, I'm going to create the address. Okay, so let's create the address. This time you can see, okay, Naveen get. So you can manipulate the data, whatever data that you want to write. Let's see, this is up to you, which data. And let's see, this is my get, Bangalore get here. And let's see, 56033. So first you add the address. And then after that, what? Address page dot get address. Which address that you want? I want the data that you have created for Naveen get as a first name here. That's it. So get address method will be called first name. It will just click on show, and that's it. So after clicking on address link, it will come over here, and let's see, Naveen Labs got created first, and then click on show, and then you can validate that if Naveen Labs is there or not. So that's why on the basis of that, it will capture the text, right? So it will give you the first name here. Or you can validate multiple things. You can return one array or array list also. So I'll simply returning the first name, Naveen get, and I'm storing inside this. Let's see, this is my actual first name. And then I'm going to write an assertion. That is what? The assertion is that assert dot assert equals. That is your actual first name. And what is your expectation? The expectation is the first name should be this, Naveen get. So you can write the hardcode value also, or you can write the getter also here. So address dot get first name. If both are match, it means address successfully created and successfully displayed on the page. So let's run this guy also. Let's see it is working or not. So see, first it will create the user, Naveen get, and see, it's saying you can come to this guy. Naveen get got created, and it's click on show, and the same Naveen get that we are getting it, and on the basis of that we are asserting it. So now you see the code, and then see the maintenance of the code looks very elegant, very clean, no duplicate code, no boilerplate code, and then everything is properly designed in the form of utilities and the page object and the page actions. The respective method is doing the respective work, and the maintenance of the framework, maintenance of the page classes also will be very easy. These are my private bilocators, and then these are my page important page actions that we are using it. This is my add, update, delete, and the get. Returning something and asserting inside a test class. Do not write assert in the page class. This is a violation of the page class, page object model. And then this method should call add method, update method, delete method, and the get method. Your test engine should call these methods, and these methods will give you the actual result, and then you validate that. So it's your test client responsibility to validate whatever the actual thing that you're getting with respect to the with the comparison of the expected result. So these are my successful deleted, created, updated, created, and all such things. These are my expected messages or expected validations or expected first name. On the basis of that, I'm asserting and finally quitting the data. And this address.java is behaving like a template or POSO for me, right? A kind of DTO for me, which is like maintaining the address objects here. So instead of passing so many parameters, first thing that do not pass so many parameters, for example, for add address. And then I'm again calling this particular. So I'm just creating the object and passing the reference. And from this reference, whatever you want. So simple, right? Get first name, last name, address, one city, zip code, like that. This is how the developers, although they design the backend code for their REST APIs for CRUD operation, CRUD REST APIs. Okay. And it's your test responsibility now, how exactly the data that you are maintaining. So here hard code value, it's fine. You can maintain some data provider or something like this. Perfect. Now, for example, let's see, I'm just going to do this one. The application is, in this application, the bug is that it's allowing the duplicate data. So let me just destroy it, some data. What you can do whenever you start the automation, right? You just destroy everything through automation, and or maybe delete everything, all the entries from the database, and then you can start running your test cases, all the test cases together. Okay, so I'm going to run all the test cases together for these 4 test cases, and let's see. But please do not create any dependency. So let's quickly run it and let's see. So first create, perfect, and then this is for update or delete or whatever, then this is for get. Alphabetically it will, we are not giving any priority, alphabetically it will be executed, and 4 test cases are absolutely working fine. Create address, delete address, get address, update address in the console also. 4 test cases are absolutely working fine. So this is how, see the neat and clean code. And please guys, do not write the hard-coded values. Like hard-coded values mean the existing user that you are going to use it. See, for example, Naveen get is already there, and you want to run this Naveen get hard-coded value here directly to update the user, to update the address. It means what if after 2 months Naveen get is not there, or after next day also Naveen get, somebody has deleted this. It means this entire code will not work in that case. So for every test is important to me. First, it's having its own creating the address over here, or you can move this particular update address in your before class also, before method also, that you can do that. Okay, that is up to you how exactly you're designing your before method and before class in TestNG, right? Like this. Same thing for delete address also. I first have to create the user, and the same user Naveen delete only, I'm going to delete it. I don't want to create any dependency that okay, this guy I have created, now this Naveen I'm going to delete. No, don't do that. Because what if your manager says, okay, fine, or your requirement is just to execute this. So I don't want to create any, dependency between these 2 test cases. Like I can write depends on method on this also, but that I don't want to create it, right? Because for time being, let's see this create user is or create address is not working. So in that case, it will never participate. So whenever I'm going to run this delete address, so it will always giving a fair chance that first you add the address with this user and this time is working, and then delete the same user. This is the way that we should always automate these registration page or CRUD operation pages, create user, create address, create employee data or something like this, update the same user, delete the same user, get the same user or same address or something like this. We should always automate in such fashion. Okay, now tomorrow the newcomer is coming. They can easily understand the code. They can easily write the test cases and keep adding number of test cases on the basis of that. Okay, so that is the approach for CRUD operation. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon to get a notification for more and interesting videos on test automation, Java, and different tools and technologies. This is Naveen here, and thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.